The next thing that we're looking at is a cam bushing on page 11, and you want to follow these right down the line of your spreadsheet. So if we looked at this, it says cam bushing. We got to go down the pages and find which one says that. So we see what are the differences in cam bushing and the last two parts. Well, it doesn't have a flange, doesn't have a neck, doesn't have a chamfer. Are the diameters different? Is the length different? Yes. What else is different? It's got a hole in it. And we haven't had a hole in any of these so far. So we're going to go over here. And I'm going to put a diameter of 0.218 here. The length is 515. And we don't have these, so we're just going to put a 1 in here. Because these are, do we have the flange? No. Suppress. Do we have the neck? No. Suppress. So when we suppress something, we don't have to put numbers in here, but we can't leave it nil. We have to have an integer in that table. Okay. All right, so let me see. Did we have a chamfer over here on these? Yes. So we were going to compute these three, right? Does this one have a chamfer? No, so we're going to suppress that. Here's another feature. It's a concentric hole. So do we have the concentric hole here? No, 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 no. Compute. Okay? So now we're going to have a parameter that's going to have our concentric hole diameter. So let's look at this diameter here. The inner diameter is 0.1562. So I'm going to put that in here. Now, does this have a concentric hole? These don't have a concentric hole, so I could just put a 1 in every one of these because it needs some kind of number in that column. Does this make sense, what we're going through now? Okay, so that's all that we have in that part, right? Okay, what's the next part that we have? We have a valve tappet. So we're going to come over here and we're going to go down until we see a valve tappet. Here's the valve tappet. The valve tappet has a revolved hole in the bottom. That's how you're going to get that full round on the end. That's called a spherical radius, and it's a complete 180-degree radius. So you're going to draw half of that and swing it around as a revolved cut right in the center, okay? So this one has a flange as well, right? Valve tappet. The length is different. The diameter of the pin is different. And then it has this revolved hole. So when it says mill 1.5 deep, that means to the tangency of this from the very end face. It also has a chamfer of 15 thousandths. So let's go into our spreadsheet and put this stuff in. On the valve tappet, let's just see what it does have. Does it have a flange? Compute it. Does it have a neck? Does it have a neck? No, so we're going to suppress that one. It does have a chamfer, right? So we're going to compute that one. And does it have a concentric hole that goes all the way through? No. So that's going to be a 1 right there. Now the next feature that I put in my IPART was the next thing that was different from all the rest of the parts. And when I look at that, it's a feature that can be revolved, and we're going to ask if it has that in there. It does not have it in anything until I get down to here. Now, if we don't have that revolved hole in anything else, we do not need the dimension parameters. So let's go back over here and see what we have. We have a flange thickness. What is that? Flange thickness right here is 70 thousandths. You see that? So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put 70 thousandths in. The flange diameter is going to be different, and that is 0.36. So I'm going to put that in here. Flange diameter, 0.36. Now what's the overall length? And we're going to allow this to compute. 70 thousandths plus 0.66. Good. Now, what did this go to 0.73 for? Oh, that's right. Okay, this is the diameter of the pin. So if I go right here, this diameter is 0.249. Okay, and we've got everything we need for that part, right? Correct? Now I'm going to go to the next part. So when I go over here and look at the next part that we're going to be looking at is a valve tappet bushing. It's on the same page right here. It also has a flange. That flange is 100 thousandths and 475. So let's go in there and do that one. The flange diameter, 475, and this was 100 thousandth, 0.1. And we're going to compute it. Sorry. 475. Oh. Why do I keep doing that? There we go. Okay, what about the overall length? It's going to be 0.1 plus 0.35, so that's 0.45 when you don't have to calculate it. So that is 0.45 for the overall length. And then the dimension for the diameter of the pin is going to be 375. Okay, it does not have a neck, right? So we're going to suppress it. Does it have a chamfer? Compute it. Does it have a concentric hole? Does it? And that is a 0.25. So what are we going to do? What was our other concentric hole? Right up here in the cam bushing? What's that? Here's the diameter of the concentric hole. So we're going to compute this. And what was this diameter? 0.25. Thank you. Does it have a revolved feature in there? A revolved blind hole? No. So we're going to suppress that one. Does that make sense? Okay. Now we're going to come back. We're going to go to the tail shaft retainer. So if we go down to the tail shaft retainer, it's right here. Okay. So we have a diameter and we have and the length of it, right? 649 and 032 long. Does it have a flange? Does it have a flange on it? Imagine this just being a short piece of rod. There is no flange coming out beyond that like this one. So there is no flange on this one, but we have a 256 screw for removal. So we're going to go over here. We don't need this, so we're going to put a 1 in here. And we're going to say suppress it. Does it have a neck? That undercut? No, we're going to suppress it. Does it have a feature, chamfer? We're going to suppress that. Does it have a concentric hole? Yes, it does. Okay. It's got a concentric hole. However, it is a threaded hole. Okay? So I'm going to say suppress on this. And I'm going to put in a new feature in here. So I'm going to go right out here. And I can click on this. And right click and insert. And I can say, does it have a threaded hole? And I'm going to put FEA in front of it. So that is only going to come about that's going to be suppressed. The threaded hole is going to be a 256. Okay, let's take this off this and make this general. Format cells, general, and say okay. I'm going to make this 2-56 so that I know what size to put in there. What? Oh, that's the wrong one. Delete. Does it have the threaded hole? Is it going to be computed or suppressed? Suppress all the way down. And then we're just going to say compute on this one. I'm sorry. I was trying to put in a value. This is just a feature. So we're going to compute it here. Does that make more sense? Because there's not another 256 hole in the middle of any of these parts.